composition. It's titled Waiting for Doggo. The first time I faced rejection, no, this is not another sad love poem about unrequited love. The first time I faced rejection was when I told my parents I wanted a dog. The heavens came crashing down thunderously before my parents' bewildered eyes that were silently screaming, "Why?" As if I had asked for another set of parents. Tell your parents you want a dog, and the first thing they'll say is, "We cannot have another dog in this house while we already have you." The first time I told my mother I love dogs and I want to bring one home, she said, "We already have 4 dogs in the house. Why don't you try petting one of us first?" One of my favorite people on earth once said, and I quote, "Wow, wow, wow, wow." You see, my favorite person on earth didn't talk too much. He just wag his tail, tilt his head, lick your fingers, and if he did that, it meant, "I love you." When you return after a long day of work and he smelled all over you and smiled with his jubilant, sparkling eyes, it meant, "Hi human, I missed you." I often tell people, if you can't love street dogs, you are incapable of loving any dog or any human. I remember the first time I held him in my hands. It was not a very pleasant memory. I was returning home after playing football one evening, and there he was, this baby, crawling and scrambling, calling out for help from under a mound of dirt and sewage, trying to climb out of a drain that to his little golden paws must have seemed like a mountain. I rushed home, carrying my newfound baby in my arms, then sat outside under the tap to wipe him clean, then waited for 45 minutes, catching mosquitoes, which, like a toxic ex-girlfriend, had already fled after having done the damage. I was praying I could pour some of my human immunity into his tired little puppy heart. You see, guys can feel what it feels like to be a mother too. Just give them a dog. We'll move mountains for them, and if the world barks at us, we'll bark back louder. But these refined filmy sensations had not pervaded the consciousness of my very pragmatic mother, who exiled us for an hour out in the cold veranda until my dad showed a little compassion and allowed us to enter. I had a big white smile on my face. "Meet Bhola," I said. And I tried to hug my parents, but I had dirt and dog shit all over me. Bhola, a very innocent name. A very innocent name indeed, for one who took a wicked pleasure in listening to the shrieks of the hundreds of chickens slaughtered day and night so he could devour buckets of bone and flesh. For someone who was on a perpetual mission to destroy everything made of glass in the house. Someone who, like Don Quixote, picked imaginary make-believe fights with lifeless pillows and tore them into pieces when no one was home. I remember when we took the fluffy little devil to the doctor for his first vaccination, and the needle tore through his flesh. He shuddered a little, and I shuddered with him. This one time, after a heavy shower, we were watching a rainbow from our rooftop. The magnificent spectrum etched across the canvas of the sky, splashing, splattering out of the prism of the planet, the 7 majestic colors bleeding into each other. Bola sat there with me, patiently counting colors in the sky. Only last week did my father tell me that dogs are colorblind. I wonder how someone can love you so much. They pretend to see something they cannot see. They acknowledge the existence of something that is not even there just to put a smile on your face. I remember one winter afternoon I had just come back home from college and I called out, "Bola!" waving the biscuit in my hand as was the custom. But that day no tail wagged. No one ran to me with thumping paws or glittery eyes, and no one grabbed the biscuit from my hand. Fighting back tears, my mom said Bhola had been shivering since last night. He lay gasping, panting for breath, covered in spit and fluid. The vet had said he wouldn't make it. I rushed upstairs. Bhola was on the ground. He tried faintly to lift up his eyes, to wag his tail, but there wasn't enough life left in him. It was ironical that he was a dog dying, and I should be the one crying like a bitch. I sat down beside him and raised his face on top of my lap. I never knew this frame of flesh of mine would one day be someone else's deathbed. I kissed him on the forehead, just above his nose. One last time, he put in all the energy he had, the little life that he had left in him, to strain his voice to say, "Oh, wow." One last time. He closed his eyes and did not open them again. "How about you?" I whispered.